Welcome to the Japanese Cultural and Community Center of Washington's virtual Bunka no Hi. As November is coming to a close, New Year's Day is just around the corner. This video, our fifth and final cultural video for Bunka no Hi, is all about mochi. Mochi in Japanese is often translated to rice cake in English. It is a traditional celebratory food indispensable for Japanese New Year. In this video, we'll show you how it's traditionally made, how it can be eaten, and we'll tell you about the significance in Japanese culture. Mochi is made from special glutinous rice. It is sticky and stretchy and eaten as either savory or sweet food. Now, many people purchase pre-made mochi or make it in an electric mochi maker. But traditional mochi pounding, called Mochizuki, is an exciting year-end event. Kagamimochi is a pair of round mochi, one a little smaller than the other, set up as an offering for a god to bring good luck to a family on New Year's Day. The traditional setup is a citrus fruit called daidai and mochi on a sheet of paper and wooden stand called sanbo. A daidai symbolizes a prosperous family, but some people just use a satsuma orange as a substitute. It is commonly decorated with fern called urajiro, dried persimmons, kelp, sacred paper decorations, and more. The date varies depending on the region, but around January 11th or 15th, Kagamimochi is broken into small pieces, cooked, and eaten. It is believed that one can stay healthy by eating the mochi once offered to a god, and it marks the end of New Year's celebration. Mochi made during Mochizuki is often used in a traditional New Year's food, ozoni. Ozoni is mochi soup, though there are many recipes that can be used. Later in this video, 4 guests will share with us their hometown or favorite ozoni. As we said earlier, mochi is made from a special kind of rice called mochigome, which is stickier, perfect for making mochi. At grocery stores, it is often called sweet rice. Before the day of Mochizuki, we need to prepare the tools and rice. Uncooked rice is washed and soaked overnight, as are the mortar and the mallet, the usu and kine. Since mochigome is so sticky, the tools need to be soaked to help keep the mochi from sticking to them. Traditionally, kine are made of wood, and usu are made of stone or wood, though regardless of what it is made of, it needs to be very heavy to stay in place while people are pounding the mochi. The next day, the day of Mochizuki, we're ready to pound mochi. The morning of Mochizuki, the rice is strained in a colander. It is then steamed, traditionally on a double boiler kind of steamer. While the rice is steamed, the usu and kine are soaked with hot, almost boiling water. As it cools, it's replaced with fresh water to keep them warm. When the rice is done, it's transferred to the usu, and the pounders can start working on it. Today, we have 2 mochi pounders, Hideaki and Damien, assisted by Karen. When pounding mochi the traditional way, you need at least 2 people, one to pound with the kine and one to move and flip the rice. Before pounding, the rice should be ground a bit so that when pounding, the rice is not scattered. Now it's time for pounding! Hideaki starts pounding. After a few swings of the kine, an assistant moves the rice, just like you would if you were mashing potatoes or making batter for cookies. Once the rice has been moved around, pounding can resume. One kine can hit the rice at a time, so if there are 2 pounders, they have to coordinate when they swing so they don't hit each other. The process of pounding and moving the rice continues as the rice begins to resemble mochi. It is important to go through this process quickly so the mochi does not lose its heat. Now the mochi is done! We'll transfer the mochi to the table so we can begin to shape it. Mochi can be made into different shapes, but most commonly are round or rectangular. The mochi is portioned out and then shaped. Mochi is delicious on its own, but there are so many tasty ways to prepare it. Some of our favorites are kineko, roasted soybean powder mixed with sugar and salt, anko, sweet red bean paste, nori, dried and flavored seaweed, and natto, fermented soybeans. Mochi is very sticky. If it gets stuck in the throat, it can be a choking hazard. To eat mochi safely, follow these tips. Cut mochi into small pieces. When eating mochi, drink some liquid and keep your throat wet. Eat mochi slowly. Chew well before swallowing. Young children, elderly people, and those who cannot chew well need extra caution when they eat mochi. We'll use the mochi we made during Mochizuki to make traditional New Year's mochi soup, called ozoni. Ozoni, or zoni, is a celebratory dish with mochi and soup eaten during New Year's celebrations in most parts of Japan. There are numerous types of ozoni, often with regional differences. For example, in many regions of Japan, the soup looks clear, but the ingredients to make the stock differ. People use dried anchovies, konbu or kelp, bonito flakes, or flying fish. In Osaka and Kyoto, typically ozoni is made with special miso, so the soup is not clear. In Tottori and Shimane, azuki beans, sweet red beans, are used. The shape of the mochi may differ based on the region as well. Western Japan tends to use round mochi, whereas Eastern Japan typically uses rectangular mochi. In parts of Shikoku, mochi with anko filling is used. The method of cooking the mochi is also different. Some areas grill their mochi, while some boil the mochi. We asked some members of our community to show us their hometown ozoni and have guests from Hiroshima, Osaka, and Kanagawa prefectures, as well as a Japanese-American take on ozoni. First up is Ritzko-San from Hiroshima. Let's find out what is special about her Hiroshima style.
広島ご出身の律子さんにお雑煮のご紹介をしていただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。
はじめまして、川原律子でございます。このお雑煮は、牡蠣の入った広島風のお雑煮でございます。日本はそれぞれその県によってお雑煮の種類が違うんですよね。でも広島は昔から牡蠣が有名ですから、牡蠣を入れてました。で、だしはいりこを使いました。中身はそれぞれ自分のお好きなものを入れていただいたらいいと思います。
それではいただきます。本当ですね、大きな牡蠣が入ってますね。それではおつゆから。牡蠣のエキスがたっぷり出てすごく美味しいです。
そうですか。はい、
とても美味しいです。このお雑煮は小さい時から召し上がってたお雑煮ですか？
そうですね。広島はもうこのスタイルですね。母親から習ってました。
In her ozoni, she uses round mochi, dried anchovy for the stock, and adds daikon, carrots, kamaboko, fish cake, mizuna greens, and oysters. Next up is Hideaki-san from Osaka.
大阪出身の秀明さんのお雑煮をご紹介したいと思います。美味しそうですね。白いお味噌のお雑煮は初めて見たんですけれども、どなたから教わったんですか？
うちの母からです。
大阪では一般的な味付けなんでしょうか？
そうですね。大阪はやっぱり京都の白味噌を使って作るお雑煮が多いですね。
でもこれはお味噌汁に使うお味噌とは違いますよね。
そうですね。普段の、味噌汁には普通の合わせ味噌っていうか、もっと茶色っぽい味噌を使います。お正月の時でこれです。
それでは早速試食いたしましょうか。いただきます。美味しいですね。コクとほんのり甘みがある優しい味ですね。
はい、やっぱり京都の白味噌、多分西京味噌っていうので一番名前で知られてると思うんですけど、やっぱり甘いのが特徴で、塩分も普通の味噌に比べてはるかに少なくて、とても飲みやすい 味わいやすい味になってます。
大根、豆腐、人参、里芋が入ってとても美味しいです。
お餅がすごい美味しい。
全部美味しいです。お雑煮にお豆腐入れるって初めて聞きました。
多分それは僕のスタイルだと思います。もう母のお雑煮は多分35年ぐらい食べてない
でも思い出すんですね。やっぱり
そうですね、
ちっちゃい時召し上がった。やっぱり普通のお味噌汁の味とは違いますね。
本当にお雑煮の味っていう感じですね。僕にとっては1年に1回だけですね。
特別なお味。
In his ozoni, he uses round mochi, dashi and Kyoto shiro miso for the soup stock, and adds in sato imo, sold as small taro in Asian markets, daikon, carrots, and tofu. Thanks, Hideaki-san. Next up, we have Yoshimi-San from Kanagawa. Her style is traditional in the Kanto region, which includes Kanagawa and Tokyo.
横浜ご出身で、シアトルとベルビューの萌組保育園の園長先生でもあられます鈴木よしみ先生のお雑煮をご紹介いたします。
ありがとうございます。鈴木よしみです。
先生、
はい、
それでは出来上がりを、
はい、
試食させていただいてもよろしいですか？
もちろんでございます。
はい、先生、これは、はい、おつましタイプの、はい、お雑煮ですよね。
そうなんです。私たち関東、私横浜出身で、小さい頃からこの、鶏肉の、だしをベースにクリアな綺麗な、お出汁でいただいております。今回は実はぜひシアトルということで松茸も入れてみました。これは横浜と、シアトルが一緒になったっていうようなお雑煮を今回ご用意させていただきました。
ありがとうございます。鶏肉入ってますね。
いただきます。
鶏肉と野菜のコクがだしにすごく効いてて本当に美味しいです。では念願の松茸を。夢のようです。美味しい。これを見てください。これは先生、何の形でかまぼこですよね。
そうです。これはかまぼこです。はい。細く切ってこう曲げ込んで、はい、作った。これは松ですね。
松。
はい。
松
です。
形に、
はい。はい、それではお雑煮のご紹介をさせていただきます。まずチキンは、湯がいても柔らかい部分ですね、ももの、部分をこの一口サイズに切りました。そして一番最初に出汁が十分出るように一番最初に、お鍋の中で煮ます。そしてその次に、次は硬い順にいくんですけれども、まずはこの、人参、このお花の形にして、そして切れ目を入れるとまたより一層綺麗な形になります。同時に、お大根も同じ、形で切ります。そしてこれが紅白の、お大根と人参で紅白を意味しております。そしてかまぼこなんですが、このような形でこれは松の、形を、彩った、はい、かまぼこになります。 小さく細く切り目を入れて、その中に織り込んでいくという形なんですが、これもインターネットで見れますので、ぜひ見てください。そして、この水菜、今回水菜を使いました青みなんですが、これはほうれん草でも、三つ葉でも、色のきれいな青いところを使っていただきたいと思います。
先生、
はい、
このお雑煮はどなたから教えていただいたんですか？
これはやはり母から習いました。小さい頃からこのお雑煮を食べていて、お正月になるとおせち料理を準備する時にも一緒に手伝って、母から教わったおせち料理を毎年準備いたします。
それからめぐみ保育園では、園児のお子さんたちにお昼ご飯を出されてるって聞いたんですけれども、おせち料理を出されることはあるんですか？
そうなんです。年の初めの1週間かけて、毎日いろいろなおせち料理を出します。そして汁物にはこのお雑煮を。ただ、園児さんはお餅が危ないんですね。やはり腸菌がハザードの一つなので、お餅は実はサーブしておりません。ただこのお汁を、お雑煮を子どもたちは毎年新年に、第1日目初登園日に、試食しております。
でもお餅がなくてもお正月気分は味わえますよね。それではごちそうさまでした。
ありがとうございました。
美味しかったです。
ありがとうございます。
She uses rectangular mochi, toasted, and kombu flavored stock. She adds in carrots, daikon, kamaboko or fish cake, chicken, mizuna, and shiitake and matsutake mushrooms. Among all the ingredients, she cooked chicken first in the stock so that the stock would get full of chicken flavor. She cut vegetables into shapes that enhance the festive mood. Thanks, Yoshimi-san. And finally, we have a Japanese-American recipe from Bill-san. Bill-san is sansei from Wakayama and Kagawa in Japan.
Today we have Bill Tashima joining us with his version of traditional ozoni. Did you grow up making ozoni?
No, my family is originally, I grew up in Cleveland, Ohio.
Okay.
And my mom was from Wapato, from a kind of a traditional Japanese family, but my dad was from Riverside, California, and did not grow up at all in a Japanese family.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and we're in Cleveland, so we never had ozoni on New Year's.
Really?
But my mom always said you have to have mochi the first thing on New Year's Day.
As the first thing to eat.
The first thing to eat. And so we had family friends that made it. They would give us some, and we just kind of either grilled it in a pan or in the oven. And then we just dipped it in shoyu and sugar, and that was our mochi.
Yeah.
It's really good.
Yeah, we actually learned ozoni, this ozoni recipe.
You know, it was kind of like, I saw the traditional recipe and I kind of made something similar the first time, and I thought, wow, this is a lot of work. And as it's kind of interesting because like also being a sansei, it's kind of like, even though I'm cooking a lot for New Year's, on New Year's Eve, I kind of want to welcome the New Year's in, so I go out and maybe have a couple of drinks, and so I don't want to be doing a lot of cooking on New Year's Day.
Yeah.
So then I just switched to something really easy.
Okay.
And it's something that I think, to me, tastes good.
Yeah.
And so I know, traditionalists will say, that's not ozoni. Well, I know that, but this is what I like, and it honors my parents by having the mochi first thing on New Year's, and so, yeah.
Keeping that traditional.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, I'll try the soup first. It smells really good. Yeah. It's delicious.
And the one thing I like about mochi, especially in the soup, is when it gets that gooey and it stretches out.
Yeah.
It's really good.
The best.
He uses round mochi, matsutake or suimono for the broth, and includes onion, spinach, 2 kinds of kamaboko, and satsumage. Thanks to Ritzko-San, Hideaki-san, Yoshimi-san, and Bill-san for showing us their ozoni. We hope you enjoyed all their recipes and try making your own ozoni at home. All 4 recipes will be included in the Japanese Winter Fun Book, available at our website on the event page for Bunka no Hi. Thank you all for watching our first virtual Bunka no Hi. We hope you all enjoyed all our videos. If you missed any or would like to watch them again, all 5 videos from this year's Bunka no Hi are available on our YouTube page, Japanese Cultural and Community Center of Washington. We hope you all have a great holiday season and a happy new year.